This is me, Spoon Beast.
What is up, everybody? Well, it's kind of dark in here because it's rainy outside, and this is the best way to see all of my face. There's certain lighting scheme. I have one light on, the rest of the lights are off. I can explain that later. But basically, today's topic is going to be handheld gaming consoles and or portable gaming consoles, whichever term you prefer. Without further ado, let's talk about them. In my request a vlog video, I was requested to do a thoughts on, by my friend Mike, to do thoughts on the Nintendo 3DS, give my opinions of it, and simultaneously in that video I got a request by the Wrestling Jokers to kind of talk about the next generation portable NGP. So with that being said, I don't really know much about them. I'll give my kind of opinions on the ideas of them and whatnot. But basically I'm going to also talk about portable consoles of the past and just kind of give my overall feelings on them, if you will. Slow vlog, little trip down memory lane sort of thing. Put them all in one. Let's talk about portable gaming consoles. The idea of portable gaming has, it's been around for quite a while, since like the early 80s with Nintendo's popular Game & Watch electronic games they used to sell. And then they kicked it really into high gear when Nintendo released the Game Boy in the late 80s. It was huge when it first came out. So huge it got a successor in the Game Boy Color. The first one not to be monochrome, in the green and white. And then it just kept getting more and more advanced. It just seemed like, no pun intended for advanced, but everywhere you look there'd be a new, Game Boy. There'd be Game Boy Advanced, then Game Boy Advanced SP. And then Game Boy kind of wore off after the SP with the introduction of the Nintendo DS, which was revolutionary for the time because of the use of a touchscreen with the stylus pen. And that was really unique at the time because no handheld gaming console had ever used that. So Nintendo, the Wii was coming out, and they were revolutionizing the way we play with that, as a regular console, and they took a handheld console and kind of freshened up the system. Sure, they may have freshened up designs over time, like the Game Boy looks significantly different from the Game & Watch system. The SP, the Advanced looked way different from the Color, which was basically a slimmer Game Boy, and then SP looked way different than Advanced. And then here comes the DS just to rule the competition, which it has, pretty much. And then Sony decided to come in. The DS Lite ended up coming out as well, make it slimmer. I like that design. Unfortunately, I lost my charger from my DS. I can't even play it right now. But the Lite version really was a nice change because it made it significantly slimmer and just more comfortable to hold. Although the original design is quite nice itself, I prefer the Lite. And then, as I said, Sony came along with the PSP. And it's basically, the PSP's been Nintendo's main, for a while, it's basically its extreme, competition in the handheld game market, because there's been many, like the Atari Lynx was one that competed with the Game Boy. You had, let me just take a look at some of the lists here, handheld gaming consoles. Just take a look, since I can't just remember a bunch of them off the top of my head. Sega had its Game Gear, how could I forget about that? The Neo Geo Pocket, just a whole bunch of them, really. And all these were usually competing with the Game Boy. So yeah. I think really Sega was the only one to really be in stiff competition with, Nintendo for the handheld gaming wars, but Nintendo always won. The Game Boys were always significantly more popular than whatever Sega had out at the time. Whereas with the PSP, I kind of think that, quote me if I'm wrong, but I think they've been going back and forth in competition. Like, maybe the PSP's actually beating the DS, maybe the DS is in first. But they've been competing for a while. It's basically just Sony and Nintendo in this little dual war now. To freshen things up, Nintendo released the DSi. I remember we were all talking about that at one point in, the beginning of 2009. I didn't care for it. It was basically just a re-release of the Lite. It looks exactly like it. There's some significant differences. There's larger models released, but there's something special with it. There was a significant difference with how the game processes and how it's used and what it does. It's different than the DS, but to me it just seemed like a simple re-release of the same console, even if it did do little different features. No, it's all the same thing. The same thing with the XL, which is just the larger version of the DSi, as I said. It was just basically a re-release of the Lite. It looks exactly like it, and you wouldn't tell unless you're looking at the box. Which brings me into what we're going to talk about today. The Nintendo 3DS and the PSP2, I mean Next Generation Portable. That's a code name, just like Project Cafe. That's not the real name it's going to be known as. But people are referring to it as the PSP2 because that's basically exactly what it looks like. I'm sure all of you know what it looks like by now. It definitely looks exactly like a PSP. I think it might be a little smaller in shape, and you actually have like analog sticks on each side, it looks like, from the picture that I'm looking at the moment. As you can see, I'm not looking at the camera. They look like little analog sticks on each side. One would be under the D-pad, and the other under your classic triangle, square, circle, X buttons. You can see a little menu in the picture. Maybe I'll post the picture after the video. See, I'm sure all you know what it looks like. But maybe I'll post it at the end of this video. The live area is the name of the software that the screen runs under. It looks pretty cool. You can see all of its features, like the PlayStation Store, friends, trophies. It kind of runs like PlayStation Network, but it's not. It's for the specific game console. So it looks like there's going to be some online play. You can access the PlayStation Store, this, that, and the other. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. So basically, its release date is relatively unknown from what I've been seeing. There's no set release date, but it does really just look like another PSP, but as I said, there's significant differences. The use of, the menus and online gameplay for a handheld console seems pretty cool. And we're just going to have to wait and see. Details, as I said, I'm trying to look for, legit information, but not very much is known other than, how it's going to run, the software it's going to use to maneuver the menus and whatnot. And, the use of online play is very cool for a portable gaming system, handheld gaming system, whatever you want to call it. Just going to check for time. We are at 8 minutes, so okay. We're still good. I got 15 minutes still. I got 15 minutes total. So yeah, let's turn our attention around to the Nintendo 3DS, and the reason why this is kind of special in itself is because it's got 3D in the name, and 3D is right. There are games that you play, I'm sure not all of them are like this, but, it uses three-dimensional software, if that makes any sense. Like, some of the games are legit 3D, and, I don't really know how that works, but I'm going to take a look. So let me just see how this thing goes. So the 3DS is based on a custom PICA 200 graphics processor. I guess it's capable of taking 2D photos and capturing 2D video, but it's capable of taking 3D photos as well as camera positioned above the top screen inside the effect which the players. Okay, oh, I see. So it kind of projects 3D. It creates the illusion of 3D unless it actually produces the effect of 3D. But basically, the two screens actually work as a way of showing 3D-ness coming out of your game or whatever. You know, they've been told that 3D effects were impressively sharp and clean, a natural evolution of the DS system. So apparently, you know, it's worked out really well. This has been out for a while. This is really old news, but I'm just giving my opinions on it. I've never played any of these, 3DS, so just so you know. But it was released here in North America March 27th, so that's like quite a while ago. That's like 2 months ago now. But again, you know, I've heard of it, and I knew this was coming out months before it came out, but I never really gave my opinions on it. So let's go in depth and talk about the idea of a 3D gaming console. Like, the design for the actual console looks very nice. You know, it resembles the DS Lite, but it's not the exact same sort of shape, or it doesn't really look exactly like it, kind of like the DSi did. The DSi looked exactly like the Lite, however, the 3DS kind of has its own edge to it, if you will. So, yeah, it's a pretty slim and sleek looking design. I like the design of the console, but basically the thing that gets everybody talking is the fact that it is a 3D game console. And 3D's always been kind of one of those things that, you know, for gamers, it's like, well, that'd be kind of cool, or that'd be interesting to see. And I agree. And it's cool how they use both screens to kind of give you the 3D effect. You know, for a console to do that, I think this is perfect. Start off on handheld and then perhaps work your way up. I don't know if the new console that's going to be unveiled at E3 will have any 3D features, but for now, I think it's good to tamper with the effect for, you know, handheld consoles before you move up to the bigger leagues. Nintendo's certainly starting, you know, to get some ground here over the competition. They are proving that they are the men and women of video gaming. That they are the company. They want to stay ahead of their competition. They don't want to surrender to anybody, not even Sony. And that's a way to stand your ground. However, Sony's going to try and come back with the next generation portable. We'll see what that has to offer. You know, it's got online gaming already, so that's pretty cool. The Nintendo 3DS has its perk of being 3D, which in and of itself is going to get people interested. Both have very good looking designs. You know, they're similar in style to the previous designs, like the DS Lite and, you know, the original PSP, but they both have their own simple edges to them, you know, to make them look more sleek and edgy to their own product, which they're trying to sell. They look similar, but not the exact same, and I guess that's what really matters in the end of things. So I think both are really good. You know, it's good to see some competition in the handheld gaming universe of video games. Yeah, I just said that. But, you know, I was asked to give my thoughts on these consoles, and one seems to be doing extremely well, and the other is yet to be on the way. And we'll see how they do head-to-head once that actually comes to fruition. So, yeah, comment in this video below. Give your opinions on each console. Give me a thumbs up for this video. And if you don't mind, please comment on what you'd like to see me vlog next. I'm Smooth Beast, and I say peace out, everybody.